Okay, folks, today we're going to test this 1968 Ford Torino AM/FM stereo radio. This radio will fit 1968 to 1971 Ford Fairlane, Ranchero, Cobra, Mercury, Montego, and Cyclone, I believe. Anyhow, there may be others, but this radio will fit up multiple years. It's correct for 1968 Ford and Mercury midsize models. The later ones would have the name of the vehicle written on the top of the lens. 68 did not have that, which makes this radio fairly unique. Anyway, the model number on this puppy is F8TBO. I don't know if you can make it out there, but you'll see it in the pictures in the listing. And this is a pretty darn nice radio. I don't know if the camera will decide to focus or not. There we go. Anyway, the faceplate's really nice. A lot of times you'll see these, guys would cut off this extended piece to make the radio fit other vehicles, probably Mustang. And anyway, this one hasn't been modified at all. Nothing's been modified here. The chrome's really nice. The push buttons are nice. The outer knobs are there. The inner knobs are not. I believe they're the same as your AM radio knobs, so you can just swap them over. The wiring has been cut, but it's quite long, so plenty of room to splice in. Again, you should be able to rod the connector off your AM radio. And yeah, just real nice all around. And we're going to test it today. We have it hooked up to a 12-volt power supply, the correct speaker, and an antenna. And yeah, without further ado, I guess let me tell you before we start a couple things. First off, my AM reception is really weak from about the center of the dial on down. That's not the fault of the radio. We're filming in a steel building here, so that takes away from the AM signal. And I also live deep in a valley, so the AM signal just doesn't get down here. Anyway, keep that in mind. It's not the radio. Secondly, one of the audio channels plays louder than the other one. So one is really loud and one is pretty loud. So nothing is like so quiet you can't hear it, but there is a difference. So that said, I imagine after this radio is probably sat for 30 years, it should be serviced by somebody that's been doing it. Always a good idea with a radio that's this old. Anyway, just a couple things to keep in mind. And now we'll test it. So I tuned it into the first station that kind of came in. Hopefully as we come up the dial, we'll get more. As I said, that's the area I live in, not the radio.
This alternate slate, some of those people are being investigated.
Yet men are being told not to be masculine.
Trump should come up with that idea.
6-7. If you order now, you will receive a free collector bonus.
This radio actually gets better AM reception than most that I test, so that's good. You can see there's no crackling when you adjust the volume. We'll switch over to FM here, which is probably what most guys want to hear. Another thing to mention is there's a stereo indicator light here on the dial. That is not lighting up. Sometimes it's a bad bulb, but most of the time during the tune-up of the radio, that will start working again, just a bad connection or something. Or I think there's even a sensitivity adjustment in the radio, but that's over my pay grade. Nice smooth adjustment on the dial. Let me show you the other audio channel. So we have the white one there, and I think the purple one is the other. Nope, the orange one. So you can see it got quieter, but then it still gets plenty loud. So we're on the orange channel now, just to be clear. So just to give you an idea, I'll switch back over to the white. So you but see the white gets quite a bit louder. Sometimes on these radios, when they have a differential between the two audio channels, as long as they're both working, if I let it play overnight, it will equal out. But again, this radio should just be serviced just to be on the safe side. Anyway, looks like that's all the FM dials there. Finally, I'll show you that the push buttons work. So I set them up above each individual push button, roughly anyway. And then I'll show you how to set a push button. So we'll come back over here. Let's say we like this station. We can pick any button we want. You just pull out on it, push it back in. Then no matter where you go in the dial, you can go right back to where you were. Anyhow, a real nice original AM/FM stereo for your Fairlane, Montego, Ranchero, Cobra, etc. If you've been looking for one, don't miss this one. Again, it should be serviced, but cosmetically it's quite nice. No cracks in the lens. The chrome is all real nice, no pitting or anything. Just a real nice example, guys. These are getting harder and harder to find. Every time someone buys one and puts it into a car, it's not available anymore. They only made a finite amount of them, so if you've been looking, don't miss it. This is the one. Thanks.